That damn white boy Ron is a punk ass sellout. You understand? So you'll never ever get away from being a sellout. You're trying to move too far to the right to try to make Trump unelectable. The only way you ever won is because Trump helped you, and not only did he help you, we came out there and helped your sorry ass. Now you got the nerve to be against Trump, running against him, you sorry, slick, snake-ass cracker. I hate your guts.
Spell your first and last name.
Maurice Simonet. You can spell it. Y'all got my point? Don't ever talk to us again. Racist rhinos. And who is that? Mitch McConnell. Bush. Romney.
Help us out the last name, Maurice.
No, not right now. Romney. All of them boys. All of y'all. John McCain. All of you. Well, he died, but he's still a racist rhino.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
I get you.
Y'all think y'all gonna get away with this? You're not gonna get away with this here. Because Blacks for Trump is here.
That's right. That's right.
Well, it's official. Ron DeSantis is officially in the race, as if we haven't known that this entire time when he's been on a taxpayer-financed book tour around the country, basically running for president, all the while denying that he's running for president without being able to control his bobblehead. But this week, right here in Miami, no less, Ron DeSantis finally did what he's promised to do, which is bring people together across the aisle. People from the left, people from the right, turned out in front of the Four Seasons. This is the hotel, not Four Seasons Gardening in Hialeah, by the way. The Four Seasons Hotel in Brickell in downtown Miami. And you had protesters out on the street from the MAGA right all the way to the left. And they were pissed, as you can see from that clip right there of Maurice Simonet, a.k.a. Michael the Black Man, a.k.a. Maurice Woodside, a.k.a. Michael Simonet, a.k.a. Michael Israel.
Michael the Black Man?
Michael the Black Man. He is the founder of BlacksForTrump.com, and he's the host of the Michael the Black Man Show here on local radio. And he is also a bit of a legendary Because Miami figure, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. But we have joining us live in studio, Tomas Kennedy, who was basically our correspondent out there on the street interviewing the likes of Maurice Simonet, coming up like Laura Loomer. I mean, the luminaries of the right. You know, we get a lot of complaints, Tomas, that we don't have enough conservative voices or Republican perspectives on this program. So here you are. Here you are, Tomas.
Perfect messenger to bring the right and the left together.
Branded a leftist agitator by the banned from events from DeSantis events, right? Weren't you arrested at a DeSantis event? What?
I've been detained. I'm surveilled by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. But you know what? Yesterday, we all kind of got along. You know, in the left-right spectrum, we were united.
You were just arrested outside of the governor's office in Tallahassee a couple of weeks ago. Inside the governor's office. You've been banned from attending Governor DeSantis's events, but this week was a different story. And so, what was the atmosphere like out there? Because you had people very much like tied into the Democratic Party out there, but then you had like MAGA Republicans out there. Talk to me.
Yeah, so I would say the majority of the crowd were people in the left spectrum, right? And I think, you know, there were people that ranged from, you know, like the liberal, traditional Democratic, you know, voter all the way into, you know, more activist types, people with anarchist leanings. So there was a wide range of ideological spectrums. There was a truck paid for by the Democratic National Committee, and there was a truck paid for by the MAGA War Room PAC. So there were competing billboard trucks that, you know, we love a lot out there.
The billboard trucks.
And of course, you know, there were some right-wing luminaries, some right-wing all-stars, some right-wing heavyweights out there as well.
All to send a very clear message.
That we fucking hate Meatball. we do not. Yeah.
You're goddamn right, Meatball.
So I think we need to hear some more of your interview with Maurice Simonet, Michael the Black Man. He has some very serious concerns about Ron DeSantis.
Yes, he does.
Because he was apparently a member. This is according to Michael the Black Man. Ron DeSantis was a member of the cannibal, kidnapping, murdering club.
Them boys, as he put it.
At Yale University. So very serious allegations being made out here on the streets of Miami.
I can't confirm nor deny.
Why are you here? Why are you protesting? I'm here to protest against Ron DeSantis, who has sold Trump out and sold our black people out.
That's right.
After Trump endorsed Ron DeSantis, so we helped the boy.
That's right.
And then after we helped the boy, this is how he repays us. Why did he repay us like that? Because he went to Yale University. He's a part of the Skull and Bones, who are the cannibal, kidnapping murderers of black, Latin, and white people,
That's right.
especially our women. So what I'm here to do is let everybody know that Ron DeSantis, he's trying to be slick and help. He's
right.
doing the same thing that the Rupert Murdoch did. He fell on the sword deliberately and then got rid of Tucker Carlson so that he could not defend Trump on Fox News.
That's right.
And he got rid of him deliberately, trying to discredit Trump and his claims of cheating and fraud in the damn elections. So guess what? I'm here to right that wrong, to make the crooked things straight, to make the rough places smooth for Isaiah 45 or Trump 45.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing right now, in your face.
That's right.
And I don't give a damn how you feel.
That's right.
Plus, if you don't like what I'm talking about, I hate your damn guts anyway.
Anyway.
I'm not
Anyway.
even playing with you, boy.
That's
I'm
right.
here to take it from your punk ass.
That's right.
I feel like now would be a good time to tell everyone who Maurice Simonette, a.k.a. Michael the Black Man, is. So he was a member, a prominent member of the Nation of Yahweh back in the 1980s, which was started by a man who came from the Nation of Islam, Hulan Mitchell Jr. He renamed himself Yahweh Ben Yahweh, God, Son of God, and he started what was known as the Temple of Love here in Miami. Roy, do you remember? I feel like you have something you want to say.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of, I don't know why I'm thinking of Kyrie Irving for some reason. I don't know. But now.
Well, for a very good reason, because the message of Yahweh Ben Yahweh was that black people were the original Israelites, were the true chosen people of God, built the pyramids, and it was effectively a black supremacy movement in a time, though, when the black community in Miami was forced into third-class citizenship here in Miami.
Yeah, and Egypt does come up in my interview with him with some historical references.
Of course it does. More than a few biblical references he makes in this interview. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh brought a great deal of hope. He was the first black owner of a South Beach hotel in the 1980s. He started to buy properties and refurbish them in Miami's inner cities, in Overtown and Liberty City, around South Florida. And then in 1990, he was honored by then Mayor Xavier Suarez, the father of now Mayor Francis Suarez, with Yahweh Ben Yahweh Day. And months later, Yahweh Ben Yahweh and about a dozen of his disciples, including Maurice Simonette, were indicted on federal racketeering charges, extortion, and murder conspiracy of about 14 homicides and several other attempted murders. Robert Rozier, a former NFL player, drafted in the 9th round in 1979 by the St. Louis Cardinals, actually flipped on the group, and he said he was part of an elite squad of like angels warriors for Yahweh Ben Yahweh that would have to go out, and when people would not sell property to Yahweh Ben Yahweh, they would firebomb their buildings, he would allege, and they would have to show their loyalty to Yahweh, bring back the ear or the head of a white man. And so I should say Maurice Simonette was acquitted of those charges and now has become a fixture since 2015, 2016, standing directly behind Donald Trump at all of his biggest national rallies, wearing that white T-shirt with the black letters. This is blacksfortrump.com, holding up a sign. And he is a devout follower of Donald Trump. And he has some interesting political analysis about how long Ron DeSantis will stay in this primary race. And, of course, why Bush and Romney et al. Are the beast and the bastards of hell serving Satan.
The rhino racists.
He don't have no support in Florida. The support he had was us. I was for him for governor. He could have ran the next time. But now you're trying to take it from Trump. You don't have no support, boy.
When do you think Ron drops out? How long do you give him?
Oh, I give him. He started off dropped out. he's a Canaanite. He ain't got like 18% people like him. The people that like him are all rhino Republicans, and people who point themselves out as like him, like you, Bush, like you, Romney. All of you who point yourself out, you just pointed out that you are the beast. You are the bastard of hell. You are the devil, serpent, Satan, and the dragon. And you have pointed out that you don't want our people free. You want us to go back to Dathan's slavery. Dathan was the governor of Egypt who tried to get everybody to go back to these bastards. Well, that ain't gonna happen, baby Bubba. Baby Bubba to the baby, the bang, bang, the boogie.
Tomas, what's the overall message out there from folks, specifically on the right, who are protesting at this event about Ron DeSantis versus Donald Trump?
Well, it was a little all over the place. One message from Michael was that, the convoluted theory that the Dominion lawsuit was a ploy to get Tucker Carlson off the air so that Fox News doesn't have pro-Trump voices. A lot of talk about, he being part of a cabal of satanic rhino racists that dominate the Republican Party. I talked with Laura Loomer as well, who said that this was a Bloomberg, Jeb Bush style campaign of Revenge of the Nerd donors that were just angry about getting burned by Donald Trump.
Revenge of the Nerd, she means like Ted Cruz people and like Jeb Bush people? Exactly. Is that what she means?
And Booger.
Yeah, the basically the losers that are bitter. She talked about, she said it, not me, Ron DeSantis being on the spectrum and being socially awkward and just not being able to interact with voters, which is, quite frankly, we have seen that in numerous clips of his innocent little book tour across Iowa and New Hampshire. So, it was all over the place. But they were definitely angry and don't like him.
And we'll hear from Laura Loomer coming up. But there really is a sense that MAGA Republicans might not even support Ron DeSantis if he is the nominee.
I mean, Michael said it. I'm running as an independent if Ron DeSantis is the nominee.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. You're a little bit of a spoiler alert. Yeah. Coming up, we're going to find out what the strategy is from Maurice Simonet, a.k.a. Michael the Black Man, in the event that Ron DeSantis does win the primary. This is a strategy. I mean, the man, he is a man with a plan.
And he has Loomer on his side, who also said that she will not vote for Ron DeSantis, no matter what.
They feel betrayed.
They
feel like Ron DeSantis is smacking the hand that feeds him.
Yeah, and they just honestly they think the guy's beta. Like they just feel he's a loser, and yeah.
Is it the high heel shoes? Is it the eating the chocolate pudding with 3 fingers?
I think it's a combination of everything.
You're goddamn right, meatball.
Why do you support Trump over DeSantis, though?
Donald Trump is a proven leader, okay? Donald Trump is the best president of my lifetime, and he is the embodiment of what it means to be an America First, principled conservative leader, okay? Ron DeSantis himself has admitted that he wouldn't be governor of Florida if it weren't for President Trump. And he really spent his entire first term and his campaign in 2018 pretending to be a mini Donald Trump. But as we've seen from leaked debate prep videos, right, he actually admits that he's been playing the base. He voted against Trump's policies when he was a member of Congress, and he's just been putting on a show so that he can climb the political ladder and then, ultimately run a presidential campaign. So I think that you're going to see the MAGA base, which you need in order to win the GOP primary. They're not going to take too kindly to this. I see his poll numbers are dwindling today. President Trump's are skyrocketing, and we're here to correct the record.
That was Laura Loomer out on the streets of Miami on Wednesday of this week at Ron DeSantis' kickoff at the luxurious and closed to the public on this day Four Seasons Hotel in Brickell. Tomas Kennedy was out there on the streets as the Because Miami correspondent. Who is Laura Loomer?
Laura Loomer is she calls herself an investigative journalist. She's known as a right-wing activist, agitator, made headlines for battling Muslim Uber drivers, she's a bit Islamophobic, going to the Twitter headquarters and chaining herself prior to the Elon Musk regime, and doing this.
And of course, she ran for Congress.
Yeah, she
here
ran
in the
for
state
Congress
of Florida.
in Florida.
Because
Kind of
Florida.
ate shit. Didn't go far.
Como mierda, as we say.
I think she says that it was because of a stop the steal sort of scheme against her.
Oh, is that what happened?
I believe so.
So Laura Loomer is a Laura luminary on the MAGA right of the Republican Party, and she has a real issue here with this elitist event happening at the Four Seasons Hotel.
She made some good points, honestly.
This is what I'm saying. DeSantis is bringing people together.
Yeah, out of pure spite.
This is not what a man of the people does. The Four Seasons, and I'm documenting this. I purchased a room. I'm staying here at the Four Seasons. It costs $600 a night to stay here. It's not like this is some kind of event that anybody can attend. I heard today that he has canceled his event in Dunedin, where he was born. So he doesn't want to have some local grassroots kickoff campaign. Instead, he just wants to have a closed-door private event at the Four Seasons Resort in Miami, in congested downtown Miami, Brickell Avenue. And that's what he's about. He's elitist. He's bought and paid for by the GOP establishment donor class. And that's why I support President Trump, and I will never vote for Ron DeSantis. I don't even care if Ron DeSantis is the GOP nominee. I will campaign against him as a diehard America First Republican.
Right. So apparently she supports the populace that shits on a gold toilet. Not on the elitist Yaley, who is at a $600 a night hotel that she's staying at. I'm so confused.
She told me that. Apparently she's staying at the Four Seasons, getting a front row seat to the donor meeting.
And this was a luxurious event, was it not? There was like caviar in the lobby.
It's like a caviar display. I mean, you could see it in the video. High prices.
And if you've been in there, so you know there's not age-appropriate statues in the lobby. If you see those like giant like
you could see a little
Buddha,
penis.
with
a little penis.
Yeah, with a little pinga pequeña.
Children should
dangling
not
down
be in
there.
that hotel.
No, absolutely
according
not.
to DeSantis.
The Four Seasons should probably be banned or be
Yeah.
canceled based on the criteria of if one parent complains, they should ban the Four Seasons. So you talked about Laura Loomer and her position on the Revenge of the Nerds here. I want to hear it right from the Loomer's mouth here.
I think that you have donors here who obviously don't like President Trump, and you have a lot of these. It's kind of like like Revenge of the Nerds, right? Everybody that got dissed or owned by Trump in 2016, especially the Cruz crew, has united around Ron DeSantis. You have the entire Ted Cruz apparatus politically, and also like the donor political apparatus as well, the Mitt Romney political apparatus. All of the most treacherous rhinos in our country that have worked to undermine the MAGA movement and have been attacking President Trump since he first came on the political scene as a candidate, they're all uniting for Ron DeSantis because they view this as their opportunity to get Trump. It's going to be a repeat of like a Michael Bloomberg style campaign or a Jeb Bush style campaign where you have hundreds of millions of dollars and nearly almost $1 billion was spent on the Bloomberg campaign. But money doesn't buy you likability, as we've seen. You know, the voters are starting to realize that DeSantis is on the spectrum. So he's very awkward and bizarre when he does his in-person events. He bobbles his head, he twitches, he laughs uncontrollably like Kamala Harris, and he's not really made out for prime time. And you put Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis on a debate stage together, and you're going to see it real quick. There's no competition.
I don't know. Conventional wisdom has it that this is Jeb Bush 2.0, right? This is the Cruz crew revisited. And that this guy's campaign is over before it started. I mean, especially with the failure to launch on Twitter.
Pathetic.
I mean, this week. I mean, pathetic. But he seemed the strategy seems to me that he's going to be like waiting in the wings for Trump to get indicted and then indicted again and then indicted and become so unelectable or so toxic that he's there. And the right, I don't know if Laura Loomer and Michael the Black Man will rally, but a lot of people will rally behind this guy if he seems to be electable versus Joe Biden.
To me, he doesn't seem very electable. I mean, the guy is a loser. Look what happened yesterday. They can't get even a Twitter space to work right. I mean, this is a man that stood in front of a voter in a New Hampshire diner. The voter introduced himself to him, said his name, and he goes like, okay. What the hell is wrong with you?
I think it's probably more compelling the fact that he banned abortion. It's one thing for Trump to take credit for the 3 conservative Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe v. Wade and then say, okay, this is a states' rights issue, but Ron DeSantis banned abortion in the state of Florida.
I would agree with you in a general election, right?
Right.
But I'm talking about the Republican primary.
okay.
Like, I don't think he's getting past the Republican primary.
I don't know, dude. That's conventional wisdom, and conventional wisdom was Trump didn't have a chance in 2016, that Hillary was going to be the president of the United States, and I don't know. And there's part of me that thinks that DeSantis in many ways would be more damaging to the United States as president than even a second term of Donald Trump would be.
I think they're both terrible, but I would agree with that. But, the guy is such a loser to me. That, I mean, even today, he was out saying that he would pardon all of the January 6th insurrectionists, including Donald Trump. I'm like, you're like still cozying up to the guy that's been calling you Tiny D and Deep State Ron and Meatball. Like, I'm sorry, like that's super beta, and like Republican primary voters are not going to go for that. Like,
but there's a plan here. Maurice Simonet has a plan in the event that Ron DeSantis wins the primary.
There's a plan. There's a plan B.
I'm sorry, plan B is illegal in Florida now, I think.
It's true.
He wins the primary.
I'm going to run for president myself as an independent, and I'm going to beat the hell out of him, Ron DeSantis, and Biden, and then I'm going to make Trump vice president, and when they swear me in, I'm going to anoint Trump president by resigning and letting him be the president in his rightful position.
That's right.
Because when you play basketball and they foul you, they foul you, right? You got to let the man take his shot over again.
That's right.
You don't just foul him and that's just it. Let a new person take place. No, you got fouled. Trump got fouled. They cheated.
That's right.
So now you got to give him a chance to do it again. Ron, you supposed to be with him, not against him, you punk.
That's right.
Don't wonder if I hate your guts, sucker. I hate you.
That's right.
With a passion.
That's right.
You going to hell, boy, for that.
That's right.
You just called judgment against you.
That's right.
Yahweh judges America, and you are now judged
That's right.
as a sellout forever.
You're in the balance, baby.
Can't come back, boy. Don't run for nothing else. I'm going to follow you wherever your punk ass goes.
That's right.
Blacks for
Are you guys going to go inside the hotel?
Huh?
You guys going to try to go
I
inside?
ain't going there. I don't want to be in the presence of a snake. He's a damn no-good punk-ass snake.
Tomas, thank you for braving the mean streets of Brickell.
I know.
This week for us.
It was rough out there.
And waltzing with the enemy out there. But what I thought was really interesting, and you mentioned it earlier, we kind of agree with the likes of Laura Loomer and Maurice Simonet on a lot of these issues related to DeSantis, no?
Key on related to DeSantis, because beyond that, we don't agree on anything.
Okay, fair enough. And before we go, I do want to get some final thoughts from your interview with Maurice Simonet on Ron DeSantis.
Keep going, keep at it, keep doing your thing. Keep preaching. We want to hear more about Egypt. I want to hear more about the racist rhinos. Just go out there at every DeSantis event and do your thing, man. We
You're
love it.
goddamn right, Meatball.
Over there called Antifa, you right. Y'all all go against Ron DeSantis ass.
That's
go
right.
Against that Ron DeSantis ass crack.
For real.
Butt crack ass boy.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm full of hatred for that white, no good punk.
That's right.
I'm
Real.
for the deplorables and Trump.
That's
if
right.
you're not for Trump, go to goddamn hell.
That's right.
Back
Right.
punk.
Tomas, thank you for going out on the mean streets of Brickell, bearing the heat,
Bearing the cross.
the rain, dancing with the enemy, sleeping with the enemy out there. And what do you got to plug?
You can follow me at TOMASKENN. Check out my podcast, Why Are We Like This, on Apple Podcast, or the acronym Why Are We Like This, Walt.com. And thanks for the invite.
Tomas is a great follow on Twitter, breaking the internet, just like Ron DeSantis and Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, wait for my Twitter space.
786-505-9842 is the number to call for the Because Miami hotline. If you want to talk shit about me, DeSantis, Mayor Joe Biden, anybody really. I don't care. This is your Because Miami complaint line. It's for your voice. And normally this line is filled with people who say that we need more diversity of opinions on this show. We need more voices from the right, more Republicans on this show. And Armando from Hialeah has a different idea.
Hey, man, this is Armando Leo from Hialeah. Got a few things to say to you, Mr. Billy Corbin. You know, that guy who Steen called in from Washington to say that you were way too liberal. No. You and Dan are not liberal enough, okay? We have a governor who is a white supremacist, man. Got to be called out. And I know, Billy, you've been too busy making yet another cocaine cowboys thing. I mean, come on, like, we need another cocaine cowboy. So maybe you know, like, a real liberal documentarian that can actually expose DeSantis and expose that he is, in fact, a white supremacist. So, you know, but he needs to be called out, man, all right? Iran, por favor. It's pronounced refrán del día. You make Tony cringe every time you pronounce it, man. All right. Eat that.
I think
up, man. Go Heat.
I think I make Tony cringe full stop, but I will say
No.
I will say, how could we get more liberal on this? I guess Dan and I could actually dress in drag, right? We could actually do like a drag show at Gramps on Thursday, a double stubble with Carlo Croqueta. I guess that could make this more liberal. But be heard, just like Armando Leo from Hialeah, 786-505-9842.
No.
There was some reporting in your local papers about your job and side job that you hadn't disclosed. Will you release your tax returns if you run for president?
Of course, and I have to disclose all the jobs that I have. It really shouldn't matter how many jobs I have. What should matter is how I do my primary job, which is being the mayor of Miami. And nobody criticizes that. I'm also the president of all the mayors in the United States. You know, our success story in Miami is very, very incredible. You know, we've lowered taxes to the lowest level in history and grown 12%, the second most in recorded history. We have the lowest per capita homicide rate since 1964, and this year we're 40% below that number. You know, and we're number one in the nation in wage growth and number one in unemployment. So I don't know why my local paper is obsessed with how many jobs I do. I think they should be focused on the job of being mayor, which I think I do a great job of.
Ay, Dios mío. This guy. Well, I don't know why the local paper is obsessed with doing their job and holding me accountable for my corruption, my unethical misconduct, and my allegedly criminal behavior. This is why he's on the defensive, and he's throwing out there this sort of stump speech that we're all going to have to put up with when this clown decides to run for president in the Republican primary. He's already said that he'd be willing to be Donald Trump's running mate, and Kellyanne Conway has already said he's at the top of the list. This Florida man. So what the Miami Herald reported this week, this has been a uniquely bad week for Francis Suarez. So bad, in fact, he has not announced that he's running for president yet, but he is running scared from the public and the press who are demanding answers for this fuckery. And he didn't even show up this week to a panel discussion in Overtown on crime that he was supposed to be at for quote-unquote personal reasons. And the real reason is that the Miami Herald just reported that Mayor Ponzi Postalita, lawyer, private equity exec, and part-time mayor, for which he receives, by the way, a $130,000 a year compensation package from taxpayers in a city where the median household income is $47,000. He was literally on the payroll of a luxury condo developer. Roy, when we talk about politicians being, quote-unquote, on the payroll of special interests or on the payroll of a developer in the pocket, this is like literally, bro. This guy was getting $10,000 per month from this developer in Coconut Grove. Francis Suarez made at least $170,000 on this scheme for this luxury condo development in Coconut Grove in the city of Miami, where Francis Suarez is the mayor, one of the poorest cities in the country. There were delays on this $70 million mixed-use urban, it was called URBIN, Urban Coconut Grove Complex. And Mayor Suarez, according to the developer, was there to assist in pushing this delayed project along. Obviously unethical, quite possibly illegal. I mean, the former gubernatorial candidate for the Democrats in the state of Florida, Andrew Gillum, got arrested and tried by the feds for accepting Hamilton Broadway tickets, for crying out loud, found not guilty, incidentally. And this guy's literally on the payroll of developers. But see, that's not all. The Herald also announced this week that the Miami-Dade Ethics Commission and possibly State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle may, keyword may, initiate an investigation on this. But here's the thing. This guy has all these outside gigs. He has a...
That's a fine. Pay up. Pay up. Pull that wallet out and pay up.
Who do I Venmo?
Me.
Motherfucker. But that's not all. This guy has a list of clients that he claims is top secret, and it is a minefield of conflicts of interest. In 2018, the Miami Herald learned that he was the secret unregistered lobbyist for Fisher Island, one of the richest zip codes in the United States of America, secretly advocating for those residents while also serving as the mayor of one of the poorest cities in the country. In 2021, while he was counsel at Greenspoon Martyr, the law firm, he loudly shilled for shitcoin and lobbied for crypto-friendly legislation in Tallahassee, while his law firm listed him as part of its cryptocurrency practice. Here's my favorite part. When the Miami Herald called up Greenspoon Martyr to ask questions, they said, oh, no, he's not a part of the cryptocurrency practice, and took his name, immediately deleted it off their website within hours of the Miami Herald inquiring.
Mayor Crypto, bro.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Moishe Mana, this very prominent developer who's bought up downtown Miami, who bought up Wynwood, who actually has Francis Suarez's cousin, possibly or allegedly his bagman on the payroll. He's been able to throw illegal events in Wynwood without permits, possibly dangerous, potentially life-threatening venues in Wynwood where everybody else would get shut down or fined for it. This guy actually, during the pandemic, he had a mural, Roy, painted on the side of one of his buildings of him and Francis Suarez embracing. This was some kind of third world celebration of Miami corruption. It was actually a developer commissioning a mural on the side of one of his Wynwood buildings of him embracing the mayor that he has bought and paid for, allegedly. Also this year, we learned that Francis Suarez, Mayor Ponzi Postalita, was the secret attorney for city attorney Vicky Mendez's husband in their house flipping scheme. Remember, we talked about this. They're now being accused of exploiting both Vicky Mendez's public position and Francis Suarez's public position to prey on senior citizens and elderly residents of Miami to basically obtain their houses at below market rate and flip them for big profits while the city effectively alleviates any of the liens or code enforcement violations or anything against them. Part of what Al Crespo used to call the friends and family plan here in Miami. Bottom line here is, Roy, that Francis Suarez does not represent his constituents, okay? He represents his clients, and dollar for dollar, he is the most corrupt mayor in Miami history. A man who we just learned this week, his former communications director, just pled guilty. This guy was charged with exploiting his public position to lure a teenage boy to City Hall under the auspices of a job and allegedly groped him in the mayor's conference room on the second floor of Miami City Hall. Francis Suarez literally helped to turn City Hall into an actual crime scene. And this man, Rene Pedrosa, just pled guilty in federal court this week to receiving child pornography because he solicited a nude photo from this 16-year-old boy after he allegedly molested him at City Hall. And Francis Suarez helped this guy get a job after he lied on his government job application, leaving out any reference to his DUI convictions or his arrest for creeping and prowling. Francis Suarez allowed him. That's incidentally a felony to lie on a government job application, but Francis intervened and allowed him to, we'll say, correct that, and then hired him instead of firing him or having him arrested. So why, you may ask, isn't Francis Suarez already under investigation, under arrest, being held accountable for his unethical misconduct and possible crimes?
Because Miami.
Because Miami. Coming up next, book bans, Disney movie bans, and
Wade, we've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished.
those inspiring words are from Amanda Gorman at the inauguration of President Joe Biden in January of 2021. And now they have been banned from elementary school students at the K-8 Bob Graham Education Center in Miami Lakes as a result of a complaint from one parent who didn't just complain about that book, because the poem, as Gorman performed it, was published as a book, and then this one parent at the school complained about it. And she said, The Hill We Climb, which is the name of the work, written by Oprah Winfrey, which is, of course, not true. Oprah Winfrey wrote the intro to the book. I feel like you should at least, if you can get a book banned, you should at least have to get the author right, Roy, right? Like, or maybe just write a book report about the book that is semi-literate or accurate. But this one parent in Miami Lakes said she objects to the material because it is not educational and have indirectly hate messages. Have indirectly hate messages on specifically pages 12 to 13, which was the excerpt that we just played, which I thought was incredibly, actually inspiring message about the hope for this country and the future of this country. She says that this is not for school. She wanted to ban it from the entire school, K through 8, that the function of this material is to cause confusion and indoctrination. And she wants to remove the challenged material from the total environment. She was not successful in that. They only moved it out of the media center from the elementary school section into the middle school section, despite the fact that the piece was written for kids ages 5 and up, and I should say adults 5 and up for that matter. But this same parent also got banned from elementary school students. The ABCs of Black History book, a book called Cuban Kids, a book called Countries in the News Cuba, and, of course, the poem, The Hill We Climb. But here's the thing about the parent. Who is the parent? Who is this one parent? Because parental choice, Roy, I've said it before, I'll say it again because it bears repeating. Parental choice is a parent going, hey, I don't want my kid or my kids to read that book or be exposed to that material. Fine. How can I begrudge a parent that? Parental choice is not one parent saying no kids in this entire class or this entire grade or this entire school should read this material. That's not what that is. That's not parental choice. That is, in fact, taking the choice out of the hands of 99+% of the parents. But here's the thing. This isn't just any parent making these illiterate one-page, 6-word complaints and getting books banned from the entire elementary school classes in this particular school in Miami Lakes. But this character, Daily Salinas, is a kind of well-known in Miami circles right-wing figure who has appeared, according to the Twitter account Miami Against Fascism, has appeared at protests alongside the Proud Boys. There's an image of her right next to Enrique Tarrio, Miami's own Clayton Bigsby, the Afro-Cuban dude from Miami who is the former chairman of the Proud Boys. He was a director for the Florida Hispanics for Trump, and of course has been convicted of effectively treason, but sedition against the United States of America, trying to overthrow this government on January 6th. Magatov to this guy. But she's there along Moms for Liberty, which of course is, they're so good at naming things the opposite of what they are. Moms for Liberty, also known as Planned Parenthood. We've talked about this organization before. She was there getting removed from the Miami-Dade County School Board meeting because she was there to protest sex education books, full stop. That's it. She wanted to stop sex education from being taught in Miami-Dade public schools, where I think we are probably number one in the nation for sexually transmitted diseases, specifically for HIV and AIDS. We need to teach kids about this, and she was there to stop it. Why, Roy? Do you know why?
No, why?
Because communism, Roy.
Of course.
That's why. Because it's communism and satanic to teach children, not teach children, but teach high school kids about sex education. Last week, we told you the story of Jenna Barbie, a first-year fifth-grade teacher in Hernando County, Florida, who found herself the subject of controversy because she showed an animated, PG-rated Disney movie, Strange World, to her students as part of an earth sciences curriculum, because as it turns out, there's about 90 seconds of a gay character in this. I should have made sure you were sitting down first, Roy. You want to stand up and sit down again just to kind of reboot? Okay, you're definitely sitting down. There was a gay... Roy, okay, all right, you good? You good? All right. Gay character for 90 seconds of this 90-plus minute movie. We told you her story last week, and now she is joining us here live on Because Miami. Jenna, thank you. You okay, Roy? You all right?
I'm floored.
You're floored.
I'm
Yeah.
actually seated, but now.
So, as you know, we have to stop Big Disney here in the state of Florida. Tourism generates nearly $100 billion a year, but a third of that comes from Disney, and we have to stop them for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. But Jenna, right out of the gate, we heard your story. We heard your, some clips from your really moving TikTok video last week. But what I want to ask here is this one parent thing, right? That happened to Amanda Gorman. It seems to have happened to you. You showed this to a class full of kids. You had signed permission slips from parents at the beginning of the year saying, at your discretion, you can show PG-rated or lower, G-rated, I imagine, movies. But is this accurate? One parent complained about it, and the next thing you know, this is a national scandal.
Yes. That one parent reported me for indoctrination to the Florida Department of Education before ever talking to me.
And who was this parent? And did they have an axe to grind? And was it kind of like in the case of Miami here, like this was someone who was not just a concerned parent, but an activist looking to censor you and censor the curriculum in your school?
So she's actually a school board member, and her daughter's not technically in my class. She just happened to be in there that day. And I got caught right in her rampage that she's going on, because she's currently she just went to all the high schools and made them get rid of everything that had any form of representation, got escorted by admin and everything. She's just trying to appease this super right-wing political thing that's happening, because my dad's actually a politician, and when she found out that she called him and said, "Oh, if I knew that was your daughter, I never would have reported her."
Huh.
Then is it really about the safety of the children, or are we meeting our political people here and trying to just appease them? Something doesn't add up.
Well, let me ask you, were you trying to indoctrinate these children into the political or gay world of Strange World here?
No, first of all, these students, these fifth graders, she tried to call me out and said, my student should be 10 until she's 11. Okay. They have one-to-one devices. They look up things that they show me that I'm like, if you don't turn that off right now, I'm going to have to, how are you even pulling that up on a school computer? So it doesn't even make sense to me that this just minor representation, it's a talked about crush. It's not even about coming out of the closet or the relationship developing. It's not even what it is. So because something is represented, it's illegal now? That doesn't even make sense. That's not indoctrination. Actually, her forcing the removal of these things, that's pushing a belief. That's the definition of indoctrination.
Jenna, I've seen this movie once. I thought it was a wonderful movie. My takeaway from it was not, was not the gay characters. My takeaway was that this was very much an earth sciences story about protecting the planet and preserving the one earth that we have. I thought it was a pretty solid message. But also, people might be shocked to learn that there is apparently heterosexual indoctrination, because there's two parents. There's heterosexual
and they're interracial.
Right, interracial men, but they're very affectionate with each other in a way that nobody seems to have a problem. I just again, what is this about? What is this really? What is the subtext here about? Is this about, I feel, perhaps looking to scare you, looking to send a chill across public school teachers everywhere to to censor yourself, to second guess yourself, maybe even to force you out of your jobs? What is really going on?
It's really frustrating. So I think that it's really just this super right-wing political thing going on right now where they're just trying to feed the hate. So you think about it, hate right here, right? It's one kind of fire. You feed it brush and it burns hot, it burns fast, but it goes out quick, which means that they need to keep adding bills and they need to keep adding things to happen to feed these super extremists who are living in a world of fear and hate. So that's what's happening, instead of them healing themselves and becoming accepting, and heaven forbid that happens, and then we start to be okay with other people being different and individuality, and wow, this is sustainable. No, so we're just going to feed the fear and hate instead by just adding on all these crazy things. So.
And you're in a classroom with children, and you probably spend more time with your kids than they even spend with their parents. So that is a place, you're a person that they need to be able to trust, and you're a person that they need to be able...
Some of my students don't even have parents. It's sad. They need us, and we're not even allowed to be open and talk to them anymore without somebody possibly reporting us.
And speaking of which, and this to me is what I was getting at before about what is the real goal here. I was reading a story, I don't know what the status of the Department of Education investigation into you is, or into this incident is, but they were talking about coming and questioning the kids. So you have this, what Marjorie Taylor Greene might call gazpacho squad coming in and terrifying the children and asking them questions about you and your competency and your what the hell is that?
Yeah, so an investigator came from the Florida Department of Education and was able to pull the students out of class and interrogate them. And as long as the parent didn't call and object, assuming that they got the letter or saw my video, then the student was able to be interrogated because they didn't need a parent signature or anything.
So again, this goal is that's not creating a safe place for children. That's not creating a place where they feel like they want to come and they want to share and they want to be open and get educated, right? I mean, they're probably terrified. No?
Right. It's some of my students who have told me before that they are part of that community are seemingly depressed after all this, seeing the oppression that I'm under.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
There's a dedicated public school teacher. I mean, even under the constant threat of firing, of her students being terrorized by the state. So they were not terrorized by this Disney movie, but they're being terrorized by the state because their teacher showed them this Disney movie, because Florida. Go Heat, go Cats, cocaine's.